the end. Or maybe not. Hold on. Why don't you just stay put for a second? This doesn't look good. You should probably turn back. Oh my god. What the hell is this? I told you to stay put. Just go and rip a tag off a mattress, why don't you? See, there's nothing left. Things aren't going to keep from stop happening no matter what you do. Oh. Is that where that went? Let's just pretend that nothing happened. Everything is fine. In fact, this works out great. You get your story, and nothing else needs to break. See, this looks interesting. Let's just, take a moment to get back into the swing of things. You turn to being a totally uncontested hero and protagonist. A stone-cold badass who is prepared for anything. Prepared for... Looks like Almighty Lord Skeledouche still needs finishing off. You take a moment to be appropriately shocked at this, mostly, unexplained turn of events. Just goes to show you can't rely on miracles to do all your dirty work, especially all-powerful weapons lying around in unmarked chests. If that kind of thing doesn't sound too good to be true. Really, what about this doesn't scream predictable? Oh. You are now the other guy. Less badass, slightly more cold. You can't find out where you are because you're still locked in this motherfucking meat vault. It's cold, dark, and hopeless. As much as you hate this thermal hall you're all stuck up in, at least it kept whatever the motherfuck was going on earlier out. It almost feels like never mind. You said troll George Lucas your gratitude. It makes you feel only slightly less lonely.
Yeesh, this is modeling. Even from here I can almost smell the gay schmaltz and feel my asthma. Part of me wants to mosey on down and enjoy the Saltfest. Maybe exchange a few heartening pats in the back. But I also really don't care. They're all too busy hugging it out to pay me any attention. There's got to be something more interesting going on. I can feel it. Hello, Loas. Rocks, mushrooms, more rocks, trees. Holy shit, is that a pipe? Okay, this is ridiculously underwhelming. Oh, thank God, something.
Fuck you. Who the fuck is this? You interrogate the ghastly green sprite for answers.
Fuck. Fuck.
Hey, you!
Nope.
Hey!
Leave me alone.
Stop that!
Fuck this, fuck that, and fuck everything. And fuck you especially.
I said stop it!
I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Who the hell even are you anyway?
That's my line! Do you have any idea how baffling it is to have some random drifter appear now of all times? You're a complete stranger. I mean, it's a welcome surprise and all, but I'm still perplexed. Here, I thought we were finally done with all the pointless bullshit.
Actually, forget I even asked. I just met you and I already hate everything about you. And not the sleazy kind either. I'm talking about the most platonic of loathing my pump biscuit could possibly muster.
Well, if you aren't gonna tell me your name, I'm just gonna call you whatever I want.
Or, you could go away.
So tell me about yourself, sad sack. How's Sprite life been treating you?
Ugh.
I mean, 2 dull troll dopes in one? What a waste of a perfectly good kernel. Where did yours even come from? There are precisely 0 empty kernels remaining in this session. I would know. The only logical conclusion to draw here is that the timeline shenanigans are somehow involved.
Who knows? Maybe Skya just got bored. But sure, whatever, let's just go with that. Sounds sensible enough.
I know it! I love being right.
Holy shit, are you obnoxious? I didn't think I'd ever find someone I hate more than myself, but you've done it. Did I just say that aloud? Desperate much? The fact that I even entertained the thought and continue to talk to you instead of noping the fuck out of here reminds me just how depraved I really am. And the only thing keeping me from obliterating myself is how much of a deranged kick I get out of my own suffering.
Wow, are you a train wreck or what? You know, I think I might actually hang around a tad longer. I happen to find train wrecks and other horrific disasters morbidly fascinating.
Every moment I spend with you is hell.
Then why not leave? I'm hardly chaining you to the spot here, Green Cheeks.
Too much effort.
See? Riveting. So now that we've established you'll keep up our conversation purely out of apathy and an acute, masochistic sense of self-loathing, also apparently some form of conflicted and colligonous attraction to me, ain't that a doozy? How'd you end up here? Why'd you end up here?
I ask myself that every single day.
Yes, you hate yourself, I get it. Can we please move on? I need details!
Fine. But whatever. I followed an orange bird guy to this planet that came from fucking nowhere. But then he kept trying to mumble his stand-up routines at me, so I fucked off. I wandered around debating the pros and cons of finally self-destructing until some sort of windy shit started happening. It managed to distract me from gnawing existentialism for a minute there until I stopped giving a shit and moved on. Then an indiscriminate period of time passed and suddenly you showed up. Still deliberating on that exploding thing, by the way.
I see. So both you and Jasprosesprite came the same way I did. How intriguing. But enough about how, let's move on to why. So, Senior Fishface, what are your plans? Any unfinished business you might want to attend to? In need of a guide, perhaps?
Meh. Not really.
That's hardly an answer. Aren't you curious about the cosmic significance of your continued existence?
Fuck no. In fact, that is pretty much the thing I'm least interested in.
Well, that's just boring.
Does that mean you'll leave?
Let me think about that. Nope.
Figures. But what's even the point? Looking at Sky, I can see another universe frog has shown up and released its last croak thing, which means the game is almost over and the players are probably receiving the ultimate reward as we speak. So there is literally nothing left to do besides wait around for an opportunity to croak as well.
Now hold on a second. I'm not so sure about that, actually.
Well, what now?
While I was ignoring your dismal yakking, I think I figured it out. Pat.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm almost certain now that you appearing wasn't pointless at all. Of course, I thought so at first, but then again, I bet Rose also thought that of me when I initially sprang into being only a few hours ago. And I turned out to be fairly important for the final climactic battle, didn't I? I also thought that Dave Petta was fairly pointless, but I agree with him now. That is definitely not the case. In fact, their destiny has potential to be quite grand.
Are you going to get to the point anytime soon?
Don't interrupt.
Why me?
As I was saying, let me dumb things down for you. Even though it may not be immediately evident how you're meant to slot into place amongst the great puzzle of casualty, that doesn't mean a purpose isn't waiting somewhere in the brush to pounce upon your cute green sprite tail. And I definitely want to be here when that happens. We're simply going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, sure. Well, whatever.
A character selection menu appears through the power of non-linear storytelling. You know the drill by now. Have some free will. Or just go in this order if you think agency is overrated. The fact you are a dedicated and loyal reader is obvious and indisputable, so of course you won't be moving on ahead without having taken a gander at all of the options presented to you.
Hey.
Oh, hey!
Hey to you again, except slightly more quietly.
Oh, sorry. Why are we whispering?
I am not entirely sure. That just seems to be what everyone has lapsed into doing. And now, speaking in a normal volume will draw more attention than desired, especially when attempting to have a private conversation.
I'm loving this private combo already, but you might need to make it snappy. John looks about ready to get down and dirty with some serious leadership biz.
Alright then, I will attempt to be brief. I wanted to thank you. For the matriarch, certainly. But additionally, for everything else you have accomplished today. I know that being the one to strike the final blow against our shared enemy in the midst of battle does not necessarily warrant gratitude, but I thought it might be nice for you to hear that what you did was appreciated. At least by me. On behalf of my species, as well as all those who suffered at the behest of the Condis, and all those who may now be born and live free of tyranny. You did good.
OMG, I am crying! That wasn't brief at all, but it was so beautiful. God damn it. Come here, Mom's big lovable space girlfriend.
I would prefer it if we saved the hook for later, maybe?
Okay, that's cool.
Anyway, I have only just met you, but you've already proven yourself to be just as extraordinary an individual as your, Rose.
As my Rose?
Yes, your Rose.
Aww. Okay, looks like John got distracted by something. So, since we got a little more time to chat it up, and so long as we're exchanging bomb as fuck felicitations, you're not so shabby yourself, you know? Like, damn, I was absolutely right. You're one deadly customer. Seeing you whip out that beastly chainsaw was a sight to behold.
I really did not do all that much, surprisingly. Or perhaps unsurprisingly. I am not sure if I was erring on the side of caution, after all, out of consideration for the gift you gave me. Or if perhaps I was simply unpracticed.
Who cares? We won! Gave that witch what was coming to her. And that's the end of that. No point getting our knickers all in a twist over it no more.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Though I do wonder how things might have gone if I had attempted to dust off one of the old Frey motifs. Not that I ever got much use out of them before.
No kidding. Yeah, that would have been pretty badass. We could have had a sick combo. Void and,
Space.
Right, yeah, space.
It may have indeed been sick. But upon further reflection, perhaps not.
Wait, really? How come?
I don't feel like I ever got the opportunity to truly get in touch with my aspect like you. It has never seemed pertinent that I be able to cast some sort of spacey enchantment. In fact, I have yet to stumble across a scenario I could not handle through more traditional methods.
You mean a deadly body slam full of sharp metal teeth twice the length of your head?
Yes, precisely. That tends to cover the bases pretty well.
Well, you know what? That's cool. You do you. Besides, hopefully there won't be any more reason for you to wreck shit.
That would be ideal, I suppose. However, it is always wise to be prepared. Just in case.
Of course! And hey, just because we won the game doesn't mean there won't be any more opportunities to, explore yourself and your aspect. Our cool powers are too friggin' handy for them to just stop being relevant once we walk through a magic door. Maybe someday I'll get the chance to blitz your chakras and get spacey with it. And it'll be at your own pace instead of having to rush it for the sake of fixing some giant space catastrophe.
That does sound nice. Considering right now I am very unsure of how to even begin blitzing those particular chakras.
I bet you can ask John. He's really good at giving advice for stuff like that. He probably doesn't even know it.
You are also very good at giving advice. That was not necessarily a request. I simply thought I should point that out.
Too bad. You're getting some anyway. Really though, I've hardly even begun to wrestle my voidy powers into submission. Still got a long way to go on that front. But thus far, most of my blitzing has just been being around the thing and letting myself embrace this natural synergy I got going with it.
When you say the thing, do you mean nothing? Considering your aspect presides over literal nothingness.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, I was just attempting to clarify. How does one surround themselves with the concept of non-existence?
I don't know. When you put it that way, it sounds pretty mind-bending. I guess I've just been lucky? Or maybe the nothing has naturally attracted me, and luck's got nothing to do with it. But yeah, I got that voidy ring at one point. And when John started getting to fixing the timeline, he took me to a place that felt like the nothingest nothing to ever unexist.
That sounds interesting. What was it like?
Well, it was white, but not pure white, just slightly off. And it was super vast, but not like regular outer space where you can actually see stuff like stars stretch on and on until you can't see it anymore. which at least gives you a sense of distance. But instead, it was almost claustrophobic, because there was nothing there. You and all other somethings just completely enveloped by a shrink-wrap absence. Never really tried putting this into words. I think the thing about it was that the void sort of changed, depending on how I chose to perceive it. Because the whole point is that it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe a little like binary.
Binary?
You know, binary? Computer language? 0011011010101001.
Oh, that.
The way that works is basically, you have a byte, like a computer byte, and it can say either 0 or 1. And depending on which it is, the computer displays the info differently. But the void is like a completely blank byte. There isn't a 0 or a 1 written on the byte yet, but that's all we're programmed to understand, you know? Like, 0 is technically nothing, but what's important is that there's something there for you to see. But what I'm getting at is that really void is just blank space waiting to be written on by somebody like yours truly. I'm the computer, and you're the person reading the display. And my whole voidy thing is that I gotta figure out the code for whatever I want to make exist, and write it on the blank bytes. Then, I snatch him out of the void. Yoink!
Wow. That was really quite insightful, Roxy. I think I am already beginning to understand things better. But what is this?
He's sure it's lipstick. And it's for you. Don't really know if pink's your color, but here it is anyway.
Another gift? Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's actually kind of cool I was able to make this at all. I bet it must be because of you somehow. You like lipstick, right?
Yes.
I don't know if this is just me, but I bet this is totes a thing with space players. Like, I get the vibe that you guys are more in touch with the objects around you, especially the ones that are important to you.
I suppose.
Well, you gonna take it or what?
I really can't accept this. I was attempting to alleviate the debt of gratitude I have already been accumulating towards you. A measly thank you is hardly enough, and yet you present me with even more to be thankful for.
Man, that's not how this works. You don't owe me nothing. But heck, if it makes you feel better. The space egg wasn't really for you, it was for all the little trollings that needed to be born. Skewering the batter witch was definitely for me and Earth and stuff. And the lipstick is the thank you for taking such good care of my mom.
That does make me feel slightly better.
So you'll take it?
Okay.
Hella.
Thank you. Again.
Don't mention it.
So, that was some fight, huh?
Oh, yes, that sure was a doozy of a brawl we all just participated in. Oh, rather multiple brawls.
I think you're probably up to speed on exactly how well mine went.
Should I be?
Never mind.
Sorry, it's just difficult to,
Don't be sorry. It doesn't actually matter.
The important part is you won, right?
Yeah. How did yours go? If you feel like sharing, that is.
Oh, I won too!
Well, obviously. I meant, specifically how you won. I'd be down to hear some details of all the kick-assery you've been dishing out. That must have been pretty crazy solo.
Oh, well, I wasn't alone for long, actually. In fact, it was quite the clusterfuck of skeleton sprites and green goblin brutes. That crabby troll fellow even showed up at one point. He seemed to be having a difficult time with one of the tinier rascals, but I was up to my ears in fracas and fisticuffs myself, and couldn't really lend him a hand.
It looks like he's alright, so no harm done. How many of those green dudes were there again?
I'm fairly certain there were 14.
And you trounced all of them?
Actually, Carrot dealt with one of them, I think. They were small, but a decidedly tricky foe. It was scurrying around so fast, I don't think a single one of my bullets even grazed it.
Well, shit. Sounds tough. Still, my score reads Jake 13 and Goblin 0. Oh, and I'm pretty sure the name you're looking for is Karkat.
Is that so?
Yep.
My mistake, then. Have you spoken to him at all yet?
Nah.
Would you like to?
I guess, sure. He and Dave seem to be in the middle of something, though. No point in interrupting. Besides, I'm talking to you right now. Son of a fuck. That was you trying to get me to leave you alone, wasn't it?
Well...
No, it's fine. I get it, finally. You want anything to do with me or this awkward dance we've been doing around each other? And I was convinced I'd actually try to give you some space so you wouldn't have to deal with my overbearing bullshit anymore, yet here I am. Honestly, I'm not even sure why. I just had this impulse to try and smooth things over with you by offering some sort of half-assed congratulations. Sorry for making you uncomfortable for a solid 10 minutes by stringing that conversation along. I'll go bother someone else.
Dirk, wait!
What? You don't need to humor me or worry about my feelings or whatever. You're not obligated to care about any of that anymore. That ship has sailed.
That's not... Oh, pussy feathers! This is exactly the problem!
It is?
I'm so lousy at saying what I mean, and then you put all these words in my mouth, and I have no idea how to make you understand. Maybe because I hardly understand myself. This is all so difficult to parse. I'm utterly fucking bamboozled by everything that's happened today. I tried to politely get everything to hold its damn horses perhaps 10 friggin' minutes, but no! These stallions shot straight out of the gate with forceful gusto, and I've been trying to keep from being trampled underneath their thundering hooves this entire time. There are so many people here, and while I'm sure they're perfectly upstanding folk, I have no clue how I'm supposed to talk to any of them. Especially when I can't even bring myself to engage with those whom I actually know. Because I'm certain there are a plethora of things I need to apologize for, but I'm still puzzling out what exactly they are.
Jake.
Honestly, I've been resigning myself to the possibility of never speaking to anyone ever again. Considering I'm such a dunce and there's no way I'll ever be able to figure out how to make things right with you or Jane. And if I badger Roxy, I'll no doubt botch things up with her too somehow. So what's the point? I'm never gonna be a good friend, let alone a good... anything more than that. So I've already accepted that I'm really just a waste of space, and I ought to spend the rest of my life keeping out of everyone's way.
Holy shit, Jake. What?
It's just the simplest solution for everyone involved. I'm fine with it. I was perfectly willing to mind my own beeswax and allow the rest of you to mind yours, and make myself scarce when the opportunity arose. But then you ambled up to me and put that plan on ice.
Jake.
Which has had me reeling for the past little whiles, let me tell you. I don't know what to do because I'm getting the vibe that perhaps you still want to be friends, though I can't even begin to guess why. And I'm so conflicted because there's a part of me that does want to give the whole friendship thing another go, even though I know it's bound to end in disaster.
Jake.
But if I'm really going to commit that mad gamble, it feels like this might be the only real chance to try and patch things up between us. Except I'm so blasted tired! And even thinking about fumbling through that conversation with all these people around makes me want to curl up in a ball and embarrass myself. Attempting to salvage my pride at this point seems a fool's errand. Nobody could possibly take me seriously while I'm not wearing any fucking pants!
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dirk. I just can't right now. I can't. It's too much. I know it's so typical of me to chicken out and disappoint you.
Dude.
Sakes alive! I can't believe I just went on and on like that. What am I doing?
Okay. Jake, I hear you. You can stop now. The fact that you've managed to whisper all that was pretty impressive, but let's take it down a notch, like, to breathe. Are you okay? Maybe we should sit down or something.
No, everyone else is standing.
I don't really care, and nobody else should either. Your legs look like they're about to give out.
I'm really fine. And can we please not talk about my legs?
Shit, sorry. Sure thing.
But maybe sitting isn't such a terrible idea.
Feeling any better?
A smidgen. Are people looking at us?
Not sure. Probably not. But even so, you aren't the only one who could use a breather. I'm sure they understand.
Okay.
So, sorry for putting words in your mouth. Looks like you already had plenty of your own in there. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm actually kind of glad you told me. I'm gonna be real with you here and say I'm more than a little concerned about some of what you just said. But I get you're not in a position to talk about it right now. And hell, there are probably better people to hash that shit out with than me. You don't have to say anything else, especially not about, well, us, I guess. I don't know about a lot of other people, but I'm perfectly willing to save opening up that particular can of worms for later. I'm probably not ready for that conversation either, so it's most likely for the best. Being perfectly frank, I'm also not exactly enthusiastic about this crowd. I'm not really used to having this volume of people around, and I guess we're both kind of at a loss when it comes to approaching them all. I demonstrated my lacking conversational chops earlier, I think. I knew it was a bad idea, but I came over here anyway. Mostly because I think I just really wanted to talk to you. I guess old habits die hard. Or in this case, ridiculously young ones. Right, getting to the point. Whatever you may be thinking about yourself, I can pretty much guarantee you I don't agree. But I'm going to put that aside for now and just say, yeah, I really do still want to be friends. If there's some part of you that's willing to give it a shot, I want you to promise me something.
Okay, what is it?
That you'll put all that bullshit about cutting ties with everyone aside, at least for long enough to talk about this stuff properly later. It doesn't even need to be with me, but just somebody. I mean, don't you want to talk to your grandma, dude? You've got pen pals for ages, and now she's right there.
That's... yes, actually. That does sound nice.
Good. Maybe we ought to wrap this up then. Or am I wrong in thinking that you still want some space?
So long as we're all together on this platform, I doubt I'll be getting very far with that either way.
True.
What I could really use is a nap.
I feel that, but it might have to wait a bit longer. Think you can manage until then?
Probably?
And just to make things crystal clear, until we get our shit together enough to actually talk about, well, you know what. Are we cool?
I think so.
Thank fuck. Come on, let's go claim our reward.
Hey, Rose?
Oh, hello, Jade. I see you've finally woken from your nap.
Yeah! Thank goodness! Now I can finally give you a proper nice to see you hug!
Is that so? Well, it would be remiss of me to refuse.
Nice to see you, Rose!
Nice to see you too, Jade.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry! I can't believe I just did that! That's so embarrassing.
No harm done. It's endearing, in a way. Though perhaps a charm might simply be a patented Jade Harley trait.
Aww.
But you might want to keep your voice down. I'm not sure why it's become so quiet, but I'm perfectly willing to preserve this lull in activity, especially in order to sustain the pleasant conversation we're currently having.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Okay.
Now that our vocal cords have been successfully wrangled, we can get right into the thick of it. It seemed like you had something to ask me when you approached.
Oh, yes, I did. But I'm kind of unsure how to ask.
In moments like these, I think the best advice I can give is to say, fuck it, and do it anyway.
Well, geez, when you put it that way.
Well?
Oh, right, yeah. So... I was wondering what you thought we should do about the Earth. John said that taking care of it is supposed to be my responsibility, and looking at it right now, isn't it a bit more, watery than it should be?
It certainly looks that way. It's just another unfortunate consequence of the scratch. Though I think it might be a slight improvement over the barren ball of basalt our Earth became after that cataclysmic meteor shower. We'll just have to make do.
So that's it then. We just give Earth an orbit around a new star or something and find an island to live on?
That does seem like a suitable course of action. We might want to do something about all that ocean, though. At the very least, to make the planet somewhat more aesthetically pleasing. Sprinkle a few continents here and there, you know? No offense, but one measly island will doubtless get boring after a while, let alone be capable of housing what will hopefully one day be a thriving multi-species civilization.
I guess you're right about that. Although, I kind of wonder about all of our planets here in the Medium.
What about them?
I went through all that trouble to bring them here, and now we're just gonna leave them behind? Why don't we bring them along? Personally, I'm a little attached.
Personally, I'd rather not.
Aw. Well, why?
They're essentially just an overly grandiose and complicated puzzle designed for preteens, presented as personalized celestial bodies. Some of them even have giant snakes inside them. Ew.
Wow, Rose, I sure did miss you a whole lot. You always have such a smart and funny way of putting things. But will the denizens really still be here if we take them with us?
It was a joke, Jade. One of the many that I dole out on a regular basis. As the shrewd yet whimsical person you say I am. They'll likely vanish once we exit the game for good. whether we bring them through to the new universe or not. They're game constructs. I can't see them serving much purpose past the end credits, so to speak.
Oh, well that makes me wonder. What about the sprites? They're game constructs too, right?
That is a decent point. The kernels, at the very least, are absolutely nothing more than game constructs. They are a core mechanic of the game in their relationship with the maturity of the battlefield and the power of the black and white monarchs, and they don't even have consciousness. The sprites, however, well, I'm not sure. It's highly likely they'll be able to continue existing indefinitely, all things considered. Though ultimately, it's up to them whether they'd like to take a stab at life beyond Spurb. Hopefully at least one of them will remain here. Far, far away. Never to be seen again. Or be mourned. At all. Ever. Never mind that.
Okay, well, I'm still kind of unsure about all this.
We'll figure it out, Jade. There's really not much to worry over.
Well, what about, repopulation?
Like I said, we'll figure it out. Some ectobiology will likely be involved, which we will all be able to discuss as a group when the time comes, rather than right this second.
Rose, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you mad.
I'm not mad.
You seem a little mad. I just really want to make sure I do my job right. I'm supposed to make sure we all have a proper place to live.
You'll do just fine, Jade. You've always done your best at every task you've tackled, and what small miracles you can accomplish with hardly any effort are a reflection of how truly capable you are. We all have faith in you.
Thanks, but is everything okay? You don't sound all that enthusiastic. Did I do something wrong?
No. This is all me. I missed you, Jade, I really did, but seeing you again now brings back unpleasant memories.
Oh, you mean like your mom?
Less the incident itself and more the horrifically immature child I behaved like back then. Never was my childishness more apparent than with how I treated you.
What? What do you mean?
I was never a very good friend to you, Jade. There were, and perhaps still are, some things about you that make me feel insecure. And, well, I was very petty, and I allowed myself to wallow in jealousy while shoehorning you into another of my many imagined rivalries.
You were jealous? Of me?
You were bubbly and cheerful, genuinely likable, unlike me, legitimately smart, where I more often than not felt the need to pad my intellect with random facts I learned on the internet. You had a multitude of talents and seemed to be able to do almost anything with hardly any effort. Not to mention, I was under the impression you could see the future.
Oh, yeah. Ugh, I thought I was so smart. Just thinking about all those dumb vague hints I used to drop makes me cringe. I totally get it, Rose. I'm really sorry.
Please, don't be. Without the haze of envy blocking my vision, I can see you for the charming, likable, caring girl you really are, and always have been. I'd like to think I've done at least some maturing over the past 3 years. Now I'm the smug one with clairvoyance. My, how the tables have turned.
Well, you were always a little bit smug.
Oh, only a little? You flatterer.
Psst. Callie.
Oh, hello again, Jane.
I'm sorry, am I interrupting anything? You seem to be taking a pretty engrossed gander at that house store thing.
Oh, no, I was just admiring it. Nothing important. Although I was doing a little thinking as well.
Really? What about? If you don't mind sharing, that is.
Not at all. Well, the main subject of my thoughts has just been shock for how I'm even here for this moment. After it became clear that I was never meant to even play the game session I was a part of, despite my foolish hopes, I was certain that the ultimate reward was forever outside my grasp. And yet, here I am. It almost feels like I'm cheating. I have hardly done anything deserving of any reward, let alone the ultimate one.
That name really is a bit misleading, isn't it? It seems so grandiose. I'm not sure if I'm all that fond of it.
Really?
Especially considering, well, my behavior today hasn't exactly been worthy of accolades either. In fact, I think I may have done more harm than good for the majority of my session. Or maybe even further back than that. I don't mean to be insensitive when I say this, Callie, but throughout this entire mess, at least you have been innocent of any real wrongdoing, which is more than can be said for me.
Oh, you're referring to things you mentioned in your story.
I killed my best friend. And out of such petty jealousy. I might be able to foist blame upon the Batter Witch for manipulating me into hurting my friends, but she was only able to do that because they were already inclinations I had deep down. Couldn't I have resisted more? What does that say about me?
But Roxy is here. She's fine. She may be a slightly different version of Roxy than the one you knew, but certainly that is better than losing her forever, isn't it? Living in a world without Roxy in it? That would surely be a terrible fate.
Oh, certainly. You have no idea how relieved I am that despite my horrific deeds, I still have the people that matter most to me in my life, including my dad. I've missed him so much. I'm almost afraid to ask if he knows about what I did. And if not, would I ever be able to tell him? Oh, he'd be so ashamed of me.
Jane, I am not very familiar with the concept of fathers and families. These are very human things, which, despite my preoccupations, are still quite foreign. But I think I may be learning slowly by seeing how all of you are immediately drawn to each other. And from what I have learned, I don't think you need to worry, Jane. We are all just glad that you are here. I am certain of it.
Thank you, Callie. The same goes for you, you know.
Oh yes! I really am quite happy to be here, not dead. I just wish that I could have been a little more useful. Perhaps if I had managed to contribute at least a little more, I would not feel quite so out of place.
It's alright to feel a tad ill at ease. Nobody expects you to be immediately hunky-dory with all of this buddy-chummy hullabaloo. In fact, I'm certain not even all us humans are on the same page. So, your discomfort, in a way, is a very good indication that you fit right in.
Thank you, Jane. That sentiment really means lots. But I must admit that it is a little odd to think of myself in such a way. I have always been an outsider looking in, never truly part of anything larger than myself. Thinking about parents and siblings, well, my only experience with anything of the sort was my brother.
Oh, yeah. That jerk. Do you really need to think about him anymore, Callie? I know I will be perfectly happy to never deal with him and his sordid affairs ever again.
It's not a particular happy thing to ponder, no. But nonetheless, it's what I have. And despite how awful it may have been, I think it warrants reflection. There is something about our shared experience growing up that makes me feel connected to him still. I wonder if maybe that connection is at all what family is like.
I don't really know, Calliope. I'm hardly an expert on the subject. But from what I understand, family is really quite a multifaceted thing. And the sort of connection you're describing could certainly be a part of it, I think. Some might say you cannot choose your family, and that they are an important part of who you are no matter what. For better or for worse.
That may be true. However, I do feel like whatever relationship we had was not truly any sort of familial bond. At least not like anything I have seen thus far in humans. We called each other siblings out of convenience, but in reality, we were competitors in a game larger than even that which spawns universes. Technically, I was the loser in the race to predominate and participate in our session. But in that yet larger game, which I think one might call the game of life, it seems like I might be the winner. I think maybe, given that I am beginning to understand what my alternate self meant when she told me to live, because we both know my brother well, and it seems there is no version of him that will ever be able to finish his childish games. He will stay the way he is forever, never able to move on and just live, never knowing that such a path, which he views with such disdain, is likely far more rewarding.
Callie, that's it!
Huh?
That's why it's called the ultimate reward. We don't have to play this drab old game anymore. This is our ticket to move on to the much bigger adventure awaiting us. Letting go of the past and learning from it, puzzling out what it means to have a family. All of that, living life to the fullest, that's the ultimate reward.
I think you're right, Jane. We just stumbled upon that realization quite accidentally, didn't we?
Actually, Callie, I think it might be because you are just that clever and insightful.
Oh, shucks. Ugh.
You are definitely a winner in my book, and I'm glad you might be a winner in yours too.
I am certainly getting there. Maybe someday soon I will be able to more fully come to terms with all this. But there's no rush, right? So long as we are looking forward instead of back.
That's the ticket. Cheers to winning!
To winning.
Dude, relax. I can practically hear you thinking yourself into another shit fit. John looks about ready to twist the shit out of that magic doorknob. Thought you'd be relieved or something.
I can't help it. I'm nervous, okay? Last time I was in this position, it didn't turn out so well. And I can't help but feel like we're forgetting something important. Maybe several somethings? Like, where the fuck is Gamzee? Vriska just shoved him into that hunger trunk when she realized we were about to show up, and then kept him there so he wouldn't cause trouble. But I guess he just went on an interplanetary adventure. Where could he be? Has he broken out yet? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, that is, actually kinda concerning.
You think? And what about the mayor? And the sprites, where did they fuck off to?
Look, man, we'll figure it out, alright? We're not just gonna up and leave without everyone accounted for. Like, seriously, how could we ever abandon the mayor? We're going back for him. That's not even up for debate.
Thank God at least someone around here has their priorities straight. But still, that's not our only problem.
Order now and you'll get another mental breakdown absolutely free. 2 disasters for a low, low price of 1. What a steal.
Don't give me your sass. I didn't get these debacles from the dollar store, you know. This is some legitimately troubling shit, okay?
Got it. I'm not even gonna continue that metaphor. I'm putting on my serious face. You've got Waldo the Juggalo on your mind. What else?
Well, I'm worried about Vriska, I guess.
Vriska?
I know, call me crazy, but my aggravation sponge has been tingling for good reason for Vriska fucking Cirquette.
Okay. So what's the problem then?
Should we wait for her to get back before we claim the reward? Will she even be coming back?
Why wouldn't she?
Look, I don't know about everybody else, but the Byzantine charade she's always flaunting, I know she has to feel like the most competent person in the room at all times, but it's all kind of paper thin from my perspective. I spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to chase that same fantasy, and I can tell she's still dangerously caught up in it. It just so happens she is way better at crafting shameless Machiavellian schemes than I ever was. I didn't care enough to do anything about it though, seeing as it was working out better for her than it ever had for me. Or it was as far as I could tell anyway. In fact, I was more than happy to drop that farce altogether and allow her to pick up the slack, as she seemed so eager to do. Apparently that only became official as of a few hours ago, but whatever. The point is, nobody's even considering the possibility that Vriska might not actually know what she's doing. Beyond whatever master plan she cobbled together based on what could, for all we know, be absolute bullshit. What is she actually going to do?
I don't know. What she usually does?
Believe it or not, before throwing myself into the fray earlier, I managed to sneak in a short nap.
Really?
Yes, really, don't ask about it. But I got to see with my own gander bulbs how fairly fuck deep she's buried herself into the furthest ring smorgasbord of reality-shattering fuckery. She acts like it's just an evening stroll through the void, but lo and behold, when you least expect it, she'll be back, hauling in her fired irons like weekly groceries. But hey, it's no big deal. Nothing we need to know about, no worries. But you know what? Maybe some worries.
I guess you have a point, but I don't really see what we can do about it. Unless you want to put things on hold and look for her?
No, fuck that. I'm done. I just want this to be over with. Whatever she's gotten herself into, she'll just have to get herself out of it. It's not like I'd even be much help. In fact, the idea that I could conceivably be of any use to her might be so laughable I might just piss myself. I mean, where's this even coming from? Why am I worried about Vriska of all people? If she could hear my thoughts right now, no doubt she would be giving me an unending supply of shit forever doubting her. Hell, she probably already has. I can already smell the shit rocketing its way through space-time, ready to bury me in sass.
I don't know, man. Like, sure. Any plan to bail out Vriska is about as well-founded as the Dark Carnival. Which is not at all. Because it's pretty much the fakest thing to never ever be real. Ever.
I'm not really in the mood to joke about that right now. Yeah, let's just put everything on hold for a second so we can have a good chuckle about how fake mirthful messiahs are. Hardy har har. Now we return to our regularly scheduled brooding.
You really are far gone. Look, sure, she makes it kind of impossible to care about her. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's perfectly fine. Just off, doing her own thing. But the fact that you care anyways is kinda cool in my opinion.
What?
You actually give a shit about people. Even people that probably don't deserve it. Not gonna lie, Vriska is kind of a huge bitch, and you would probably be happier if you wrote her off. Maybe that's the case for some other people too, but not gonna name names.
Dave.
Okay, fine. I'm just trying to say that, from experience, putting aside bitchiness or what anyone might deserve, having people around that actually care about you makes a big difference. And the idea that not caring about anything or anyone is somehow the most ideal way to be is garbage. So instead of beating yourself up about caring too much, do yourself a favor. Just focus on what's bothering you.
Okay, sure.
I get that you think that Vriska might fuck up and get herself killed somehow, but I also get the feeling there's more to it than that.
Yeah, there is. We have no way of knowing if she does fuck up. And damn it, Terezi is probably gonna tie herself into a fucking pretzel about it too. Which I'm sure she really doesn't need right now. And now I'm all twisted up wondering if whatever Vriska is doing out there can still fuck us over somehow.
Well, I can't really help you with Terezi. She's just gonna have to work on that. But as far as the blue-winged butterfly effect goes, I'm the timeline guy, right?
I guess?
You guessed correctly. And right now, nothing feels off to me. There's been enough outside intervention to convince me that this is the way shit is supposed to go. If someone from an alternate reality bothers to travel back and give the timeline a thorough Heimlich maneuver like I'm assuming John and Roxy did, which causes all the potential roadblocks to fling themselves out of our way and allow the right events to start slotting into place, that's generally a good sign that everything that can go wrong already has. So it's pretty much smooth sailing from here. Hopefully.
Did you really need to tack that on in the end there?
Just covering my bases.
You know, if that was your idea of a pep talk, I think I might as well fling myself off this miserable victory platter and perform a supersonic honkbird dive into Skya. Hopefully I can drown in celestial ooze and lay myself to rest against the bosom of a literal fucking universe. That would almost definitely be more comforting than, hopefully everything will be fine, I think.
Jesus. Alright, you got me. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. This whole alpha timeline thing is really something you gotta play by ear, and I can't predict what's going to happen. But it just sucks to see you so stressed out. Was kinda hoping we could put all of that crap behind us. At least for a little while. Those are really pretty decent things to be worrying about, but the crux of the matter is, there's just nothing we can actually do. Or at least not that I can figure out. That's more Rose's thing, and she seems to think everything's fine. And even if something does happen, you'll probably be in a better shape to deal with it if you don't get yourself so worked up.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think I tend to let myself hyper-focus on one possibility and stress over what usually amounts to be absolutely nothing. So I need to try to not do that, maybe.
Awesome. Think about Troll Dane Cook's unironically hilarious stand-up routine or something. And chill out.
I am. I'm chilling. This is me chilling. This is my chill face.
Funny. Looks a lot like that face you were making a minute ago, when you were decidedly not chilling.
How's this then?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Attention everyone! I really don't mean to interrupt all your passionate mumbling, but we've got a door here that's suddenly white instead of red like it was just a bit ago, so I'm pretty sure that means it's time to open it.
Does it really? Because that sounds stupid and arbitrary to me.
Ugh. Do you even think that? Or are you just trying to get on my nerves? What does that look supposed to mean?
Wink.
Did you just wink at me? Ah!
LMAO. This is too precious.
It really is.
Stop right there! I am putting a hold on these painfully blatant Caligulous overtures right the fuck now! Which isn't to say I'm somehow personally opposed to whatever, thing is developing here. I couldn't care less, really. It's about setting a precedent. We don't have the luxury, or more specifically, the patience, to hang around forever and give every pair of star-crossed assholes a sufficient buffer zone for their open dynamic. I can't talk to any one person now without hearing a cherishing awe from one of you chipper shippers. The Bizarre Whisperfest was so much better, honestly. But we don't have time for any more of that either. There's actually important shit we need to discuss.
Okay. Like what?
I got one. First item on the important shit list. Who's the leader now?
Fucking hell!
That's always been kind of unclear, and right when we seem to come to a concrete decision, the said leader fucks right off. Like, maybe we don't need one, but that's what's going on. We should probably take at least 2 seconds to hash that out.
I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in before this turns into even worse of a clusterfuck. I'm all for whatever gets us out of here in the least amount of time possible.
That's easy enough then. John is our leader. I would have thought that should be fairly obvious.
Hells yeah. 10 out of 10 would follow again.
That seems fair. My only capitulation is that Terezi ought to officially pass the torch, so to speak.
What, me?
Yes, you. After all, you and Vriska were something of a package deal. In her absence, it seems only logical that her position would fall to you. And if we are going to bother with any manner of formality regarding the transfer of leadership responsibilities, giving John your blessing seems to me like it will pretty much seal the deal forever on this matter. Unless anyone else has any objections.
I certainly don't have any.
This works out perfectly.
John, I swear to God.
Okay, sorry.
John's the leader? Sounds about right. Feel kinda dumb for even bringing it up now.
It's not dumb. If you hadn't said anything, I'm pretty sure this entire conversation would have just gone off the rails sooner or later. There's a lot of people here to wrangle, but I'm sure John is up to the task.
Aw, thanks Dave's bro. I mean, Dirk.
Is there normally this much deliberation when it comes to power structures amongst a group?
Lol. You know what, Callie? I think that's probably a big, fat, emphatic yes.
Really? This is so exciting. And educational.
Callie, you are a gift. So, guys, Terezi's got her torch-given speech to deliver, so everybody better shut their yappers and give her the floor. Unless, she doesn't want to?
I'm not a leader. A leader should be someone people will follow, and that person was never me. So sure, John isn't the tastiest crayon in the pack.
Ew.
But he's way more of a people person than I am, at least, which is fairly important, I guess. And also, coincidentally, he's pretty much the one with the least amount of weird interpersonal baggage out of the entire flock of nerds, which is a bonus. So have fun with that, John. Torch officially passed.
Thanks, I guess?
Fucking finally! So can we please get down to business?
You definitely have something on your mind, Karkat. What's up?
Thank you. So, are we just going to completely ignore the fact that not everyone is accounted for?
Wait, really?
That this didn't even cross your mind is already bringing your leadership abilities into question.
Otan nations! I just realized I left my dear precious Tavros on Lomax, slumbering away without a care in the world. He was always on about moving to greener pastures. I have to go back and get him!
Well, okay then, but you can stay put for now, Jake. I'll make sure we do that at some point. Who else are we forgetting?
The mayor. Can't forget about the mayor.
Oh yeah, of course. How could I forget that little guy?
And, Jack too, I guess. And the other Carapacian lady.
Wait, Jack? You mean...
Yeah.
He's not like, you know...
I think he's okay. As in, not that bad anymore? Sort of? We don't have to take him with us, though, if we don't want to.
I'll have to think about that.
Gamzee is also MIA. Just, figured I might as well point that out, as long as we're naming names.
Who?
The guy in the fridge.
Oh. I'm still kind of wondering, why did we do that again? I'm pretty sure shoving people inside kitchen appliances usually counts as a dick move.
Yeah, I kinda thought so too. But I didn't care enough to do anything about it. I mean, Vriska seemed to think it was important he stay in there. That and some plan about dunking him in the ocean later. Probably to complete a time loop. Not gonna lie, he was kind of an unlikable weirdo. so not particularly invested in whatever's up with him. But I'm more so confused about how that loop's gonna work out now.
Of course this is a Vriska thing. At the very least, we should try to look for him. The fewer unknowns, the better, right?
Speaking of Vriska...
Don't bother. I'll worry about Vriska. And at any rate, there's nothing we can do for her, other than stay out of her way, for now.
Terezi, are you sure? Like, positive?
It doesn't matter either way, like I just said.
Okay, look, see, it actually does matter. Because when you say shit like, I'll worry about Vriska, it sounds an awful lot like you're planning on doing that thing where you heap responsibility onto your plate like you're at a buffet where every single dish is rainbow flavored and also potentially poisonous, which I am not going to let slide. Not now.
Karkat.
You do not have a monopoly on spider bitch steaks, you hear me? You are so much more than the one that worries about Vriska.
Karkat, shut up. We'll talk about this later, okay?
Fine, but don't think I'll forget about it, because I won't.
Okay, I guess that's resolved then. So, is that all?
One more thing. I really think we should do something about the Earth.
End of Homestuck. Act Omega DLC Expansion Pack Demo. Please purchase the Homestuck Act Omega DLC Expansion Pack Fully Complete Expansion Edition to resume play. For further instruction on proper operation of Expansion Super Cartridge, please refer to the Homestuck Act Omega DLC Expansion Pack Instruction Booklet. Little Sebastian. Follow instructions. Sort of. Little Seb. Fix this catastrophe before immersion is completely destroyed. Lil Seb, cheat the system while that downloads.
Are we all good? Is that everything?
I really fucking hope so.
Yes, John, that's everything.
So can I finally open the stupid door?
Yes again, John. The stupid door is yours for the opening.
Anyone have any issues with the plan?
We just talked about it pretty extensively. If so, then tough shit, I say.
So we're even good on all the weird ectobiology stuff.
I reserve the right to alter my stance on that at any time, though not necessarily right now.
Excuse me, I reserve that same right. Because apparently I've been implicated in that mess somehow.
Yes, precisely.
That's fine, I guess. We have everything we need for that no matter what you decide anyway. Earth is all deflooded for sure, right, Jade?
Yeah, like I said before, I can even see my island back above sea level. Or rather, Jake's island.
You're welcome to share it with me, if you want. Though, I presume it's somewhat different from the version you grew up on.
Aww, thanks, Jake. Well, see, I definitely wanted to at least see the changes up close.
I can't believe that reverse Noah's Ark scheme worked. Well, actually I can. This game would be in need of some serious balancing if it wasn't permissible by virtue of kicking so much ass. I mean, think about it. We're like, actually gods. We just congregated on this circular platform and discussed how we'd shape an entire civilization. Except, instead of taking 6 days, we all had a quick 30-minute powwow and decided, yeah, this is probably good enough. Let's skip to the Sabbath already. So maybe more like Zeus and his pantheon on Mount Olympus or whatever.
Lol. We still got a long way to go before we're all like Greco-Roman levels of omnipodouche. Though I bet that Jade and I could construct a marble palace for you, John. On top of some ridiculously tall mountain, from which you can rule the skies and shoot lightning bolts from your fingertips at pesky disobedient ecto-babies.
That sounds cool and all, but even if I could smite people, I don't think I would. I'd rather just get inside people's heads and talk shit. Muhahaha.
How diabolical! No palace for you then.
Damn, how about a dungeon?
Maybe.
Oh, I think I know what stories you're referring to. It does seem apropos, doesn't it? Does this mean that I have a place among the rest of you at the outset of this odyssey?
Of course it does! You're like an integral part.
You know what? Callie, do you still have that book we were writing in earlier?
I think so.
I think it would be perfect if you were our official scribe. You could keep record of everything so these important moments are preserved for future generations.
I would love that.
I did something somewhat similar over the course of the last 3 years. It's fairly therapeutic.
I might be a bit more aware of what you're referring to than you know. Wink. Therapeutic is right.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you and I are going to need to chat. Specifically about private things that are best left out of the clutches of the impressionable coming ages. Or better yet, forgotten altogether.
I disagree.
Kanaya?
Of course. Though, no promises. I can hardly wait to get started on all this.
Yeah, I for one would love seeing myself in a history book. Nothing better to stroke your own ego. But in order for any of that to happen, we should probably, get on with it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Damn it, we got sidetracked again.
Well, if you don't want it to happen again, maybe you should just open the stupid door already!
And do it quickly, no drawing it out!
Okay, I'm opening it. The moment we've all been waiting for.
What did I just say?
Sorry, couldn't resist. For real this time. Here goes.
Begin intermission.